like that.
Like, I think people will talk about middle school and like situations, but everyone's changed so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like, why did you cry when you watched The Draw of My Life?
Oh, because it made me like miss everything and miss the friendship.
Yeah.
Miss pink ice, you know what I mean? And it was just, you did that, I think it was in high school, and we hadn't really talked in like 3 or 4 years at the time.
That's crazy. I remember like after we transferred schools, my mom ran into your parents at the country club we belonged to, and like your mom was so upset that like we weren't like this anymore. Like our moms were so confused.
I know, my mom misses you guys.
I remember when I was little, I thought your dad didn't like me, and like I was so scared of him just because he was like so intimidating.
Yeah, he's
like
more like a serious person.
The second we weren't friends anymore, and like we were at that daddy-daughter dance like 2 months after we stopped being friends, and we just switched schools. Your dad came up to my dad and was just like, "I'm so sorry," and like we missed
like an awkward like situation.
It wasn't even awkward. It was just sad. It was like your dad, like who intimidated us when we were kids, was more heartbroken, I feel like, than like anybody else in the situation. I remember that. It literally was like a breakup.
Yeah. It basically was like a really, really bad breakup. Like we had dated for like a long time.
4 years, like a 4-year relationship.
And then it's like you just completely lose contact.
Like we had,
like,
I think
your best friend.
My best like childhood memories are with you. 100% sure. Like the end of that friendship was probably like the worst memories I have in my entire life over any breakup. And that's honestly the elephant in the room. So like, what do you think started everything? Like what started us to not be
okay,
cool?
so I feel like you guys were being bullied.
You think we were being bullied?
Yes.
So someone else is saying that, so okay, good. Yeah, I feel like basically this, I want to say what it seemed like to our side, and then we really want to hear your side to it, because we never had this closure ever. This is like the closure that like all of us deserve, that we need like to just move on. Yeah. Because when we transferred schools, that was the quick fix, and yeah, we got happier and we got new best friends, but like in the back of our minds, we'd like think about you. Aww. And it literally is like a breakup. So basically, what it seemed like to us was all of a sudden, like we just weren't cool anymore, and like one by one, like as the weeks went on, a friend would be like, "Sorry, I just can't sit with you anymore. We just can't hang out anymore." And they would like leave our table, and it would be like each week we'd lose another girl and another girl, and then by one point, I would like to say it was like around Christmas time, me and Gabby would be eating alone. And I remember all these girls would be squishing at one table.
Yeah, I remember like because our grade was like so small to begin with. Like there wasn't like, I feel like there weren't a lot of like groups of friends to have, and it was like really cliquey, so I would describe it. Cliquey. And so we had those like big like round brown tables, but they weren't actually that big, and like I feel like the teachers, like you could only have so many seats at them, and we'd be like squishing them with the trays, and people would like, you were supposed to eat on your trays because our school was so strict, and like, people would like turn the trays or like try to like
I just said that
them, and then we go to the bathroom and it'd just be like a horrible like dramatic like mess, and like everyone would like rush to get their seat, and like I feel like some days people wouldn't even get food because the tables would get so crowded to the point that I think like people would like rush to the table at lunch and like try to get out of their class first to go to lunch.
They no longer have circle tables, which like was music to my ears. Yeah. They have long tables now.
Oh, wow.
But I don't think they realized like how, you know, our producer and our videographer were like, they were just tables, like what's the point? And Gabby and I were like, no, like you don't understand.
No, yeah.
You just said it.
In middle school, like you don't understand. Definitely, and I think that was a big part of the issue because there wasn't enough room for everyone to be included.
That's where it was established.
And it wasn't even that big of a grade to begin with. Yeah, like, it was all like divided into like labeled like
the establishment
groups
was in the cafeteria.
Based on where you sat at
Who's
lunch.
cool? Yeah. Who's losers? Who doesn't have friends? Who's sitting alone? Because if there was no like circle tables, at the end of the day, no one would know who's friends with who.
Exactly.
I feel like I was still kind of in touch with certain friends, but what solidified the fact that we lost these friendships was the lunch table. Was the lunchroom. Because Gabby and I don't know if you remember, like me and Gabby would sit alone. When we had our girl group, Pink Ice, like what was your memory from like if we were made fun of?
I feel like people thought we weren't cool because we had a band and thought like, oh that's dumb, like they're not gonna do anything with it, like what, like they're losers, kind of like they have a band, you know what I mean? And I remember we'd make posters and take pictures in my basement and
Yeah.
dress up and make so many music videos and write songs. Then we'd be embarrassed like if people found our song.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
I know that like me and Gabby were like basically friendship dating you, but then like sometimes you go off and hang with your other friends that we weren't as close with, like the sporty girls like we were talking about. Did they ever like say like, oh, like why are you in a band, like Pink Ice? Like
I feel like they definitely thought I was strange for being in a band and like didn't want me to be in the band, you know what I mean? Like they wanted me to like isolate myself from the band, I would say.
do you think that like there were people that were like jealous of our friendship that like tried intervening?
I definitely think that, yeah. 100%.
You were one of the last friends to like go. So like what was it from your side? What, because from our side it just looked like we became uncool, it became cool to make fun of us, and it became cool to like be excluded and laughed at. And
Yeah,
so
we just want to know from your end, like,
Yeah.
why the friendship ended and, like,
So I feel like I was being bossed around by other friends. Like I couldn't make decisions for myself, and so I was never able to say no, really. So I feel like that was part of it for me. And like even up to like college, I wasn't really good at making decisions on my own. I feel like.
I remember that always like worried Gabby and I, because we would say like jump and you would jump, and it's like you never called the shots, and I think it always worried us because deep down we're like, what if like they tell Jessica to like make fun of us? Like would she make fun of us? It's like when you're young, you're impressionable.
Yeah, exactly. True.
well, like, I remember crystal clearly, like, even though we were losing, like, we had a friend group all together with, like, 14 girls,
Yeah,
and
we
they
had
all
multiple.
left.
It was a big group.
And all those leaving, yes, it hurt me, but I knew I had Jess, so it didn't really bother me. So then, I remember when you left, I remember our last sleepover, actually, I don't know if
You
you
do?
remember. Yeah, it was after ice skating,
Oh my god, that I got a weird vibe.
and I just got, like, weird vibes from you, like people were pushing
Where was
you.
the sleepover?
It was here, and we got in a really bad fight with, like, our dad that morning, and then we dropped her off at her parents, and we went to see Abuela, and then all of a sudden, we just stopped hearing from you, and we were crying to our mom. We're like, why isn't she answering her house phone? She's not talking to us at school. My mom would call your mom. She was crying to our mom, saying, I don't know what's going on. We would fax stuff over, like rip friendship. Where are you? Where are you, Jess? Like really sad. Usually, Nikki was like she kept me strong. If Nikki, because she was always like tough, I was really sensitive. If Nikki broke down, then I wouldn't know what to do with myself. What caused her to break down was losing you. And then that's when I couldn't handle it. Because I was like, okay,
you didn't have your
now
support
Nikki's
there.
not being strong for me, so now like, you know.
Was there rumors being spread, and were people telling you not to hang out with us? Like what was the tea behind the drama? Because
Okay.
till this day we still don't know.
I don't know if it was rumors necessarily. I think people were just like, I guess that is rumors actually, like saying things behind your back, you know what I mean? And so they'd be like, oh, like they're not cool, don't talk to them type of thing.
So they would say that?
Yeah.
We're just kind of waiting for that, like, what happened, because till this day, it's confusion. Like, imagine, like, all of a sudden your friends dropping one by one and then, like, transferring schools. It was a very weird time.
I feel like it was all like middle schoolers like ganging up, like together, like being evil.
It felt like ganging up. That's so true.
So I think they were being bullied by other members of our class. And so the bullying started people not liking them and started the rumors spreading. And from there, things really got out of hand.
So people were being bullied for being our friends.
Yes, I feel like that. Like people were like, oh, don't hang it. Like, you know what I mean? Because like the bullies would like attack and like say
By
things.
people outside our friend group? Is that who it?
Well, I think they were like friends at the time, but they turned into bullies.
What was, like, do you remember at least one of the rumors?
I don't remember specifically.
Do you think it was just a bunch of our friends that were sharing bad experiences they've had with us and kind of adding up all of our wrongs and being like, wow, they're like
Yeah.
horrible people to be friends with?
Maybe like, yeah, like ganging up and like blow it out of proportion, I would say.
Was there another friend at the time that, like, you related to that, like, still kind of liked us as a friend, but, like, felt stuck?
I'm trying to think. I don't really know because I feel like I don't know who I was like as my like best friend in middle school once you guys left. I feel like it was like a group of people. I wouldn't identify like one person.
Was it weird to go from having, like, somebody so close, like, as a best friend to just only having friends?
I would say yeah. Yeah.
So I know we didn't tell you we were transferring schools because that would have been way too hard. So, like, how did you find out and how
I
did you
think
feel?
my mom told me, and then I was so sad. I was like, oh my god, I feel so bad. Like I had no idea that they were leaving. I'm pretty sure she told me one night when she got home from work. I think your mom called her one of those times, and she told her the news that you guys would be transferring to another middle school, and I think it was pretty sudden, right? Within like a couple of days or weeks or something.
It was.
And it was the middle of the year, right?
My mom made sure it happened as soon as possible because Nikki started showing suicidal signs at 12 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I know. That's why it was
I was gonna say, like, I feel like it got to the point that you guys would feel like uncomfortable in the school. I think what people would say, I now remember one of the rumors, I don't know, they'd be like, oh, like, they go to the bathroom all the time, like, what are they doing? Like, they're always going to the bathroom, like, I don't know if it's a rumor, but, like, say, like, it's, like, strange that you were always going to the bathroom.
I was just going to the bathroom
but it's probably because you
really
didn't feel, oh, okay.
That's how bad my anxiety was at school.
Oh my gosh, okay. And I remember you would fall asleep in social studies class because you were so tired, probably because you were so, like, stressed by everything. And she wouldn't get her homework done, probably because she was, like, so upset.
I remember being bullied for being stupid at that school by those girls. Like, just for being dumb. I was giving a presentation. This is the class where, like, the group of girls were sitting right here, and I had to give a presentation, and I gave up in the middle of it and started crying, and I had to leave. I got up and I left the classroom because I could not handle it. But, like I said, I remember specifically being bullied by these girls for being stupid. If you got a 50% on a test, these people would make fun of you.
Will this ring a bell? Did they ever say that I was dramatic?
Oh, definitely, yeah. They would say, like, I think it maybe had, like, a lot to do with, like, the twin thing, like, so they would, like, put you guys together, like, a lot, and, like, like, maybe if one of you did one thing, they would associate it with both of you. And so then it got to the point that it, like, all, like, piled up together, so then there was all this, like, tension and drama around the whole situation, and it wasn't the best environment.
Because I remember, basically, I'm sensitive, and, like, growing up, I 100% understand. I'm more of an emotional person. I get angry, I get sad, I get stressed, I get happy, and I feel emotions very strongly. But at the time, I was learning who I was, and I remember this all started with an AIM fight with, you know, on AIM. I remember crystal clearly what started this AIM fight, and for the viewers who don't know this, I'm gonna break the fourth wall here and tell you guys, you youngsters, what AIM is. And pretty much, AOL had instant messaging, which is kind of like what DM is or iMessage is now. So, but that you had to go online to iMessage people. So it's different from texting. It was actually kind of like iMessage now on a computer.
Except you have your own profile too, so it's weird.
It's weird, yeah. It sounds actually complicated, but it's not.
I became friends because I have always been so extra and always had an extra personality. I became friends with one of the, I guess you could say, popular / tomboy girls that always hung out with the guys. And there was that group of girls that just like, the guys always wanted to hang out with. I mean, it wasn't you guys, it wasn't like the popular girls. So I became best friends with like the queen bee of that, okay? She was so cool, and I'm still friends with her to this day. And I never thought I'd be friends with her because when I was new to the school, everyone's like, oh, she's so mean, she's so mean, she's so mean. And all of a sudden I became good friends with her. Because I was close with her, I put her on my AIM profile, I put her in a list of like my friends with hearts next to them. And like I said before, we have like 15 friends in our friend group. So, and I put her name above like everyone, and so did Nikki. Because I was friends with her, Nikki became friends with her. And so-and-so who I got in an AIM fight with, like approached me about it and confronted me about it, and boy, was I not good with confrontation when I was that age. I was like so attacked and so hurt because she was like calling me names and stuff. So then I was just going back. And then the next day, everyone was acting different at school. I've never had that experience where like something that happened like outside of school affected the next school day. I just remember like people were whispering, no one was talking to me, and I just remember pulled me aside and said, Nikki, she printed out the conversation, everybody's reading it.
So it was like based from jealousy, kind of.
So like when we left, what was it like at school, and like did anyone talk about us leaving? Did anyone notice?
I would say people definitely noticed. I don't know that people really realized what was going on at the time. I mean, obviously they knew that you transferred schools, but I don't think people really realized like why, like the real, you know what I mean? I think they're just like, oh, they're gone. Like they didn't realize what like impact it had at the time because they were just in their own little 12-year-old minds.
Were they spiteful? Were they like half they deserved it, or was it like, oh, we feel bad, we didn't know we pushed them that
I feel like maybe some of the people who were mean were probably like happy about it at the time, but
so after we left, like what was the social situation like? Like did that group stay a big group, or did anyone else get targeted?
Was there a new target?
Yeah.
I don't think there really was a new target. I remember kind of people being friends in 8th grade, but then things got like cliquey again and groupy in high school, and like people would only hang out in like smaller groups with people because their school was so small. Like it was like everyone would hang out in like small groups, and then like if you weren't invited, you would feel like unincluded because there was not that many people to hang out to begin with, you know?
That's so crazy. So like, were we being basically bullied and picked apart for like how Gabby acts in class, me falling asleep in class, Gabby going to the bathroom, like how, I don't understand the relation between not being friends with someone because they sleep in class, not being friends with someone because they go to the bathroom a lot. I'm having a hard time
I feel like it was just
connecting it.
people ganging up together and like kind of like stereotyping you guys into like a category of being like, oh, they're like different. Do you know what I mean? And like, don't hang out with them.
How do you think we were being stereotyped? I want to know how we were being seen by other people.
I think definitely like, it was like they grouped you together because you were twins.
I have a story I remember from 5th grade, which happened 2 years. I guess it was like a little like taste of what was coming in 7th grade, but I remember being invited to one of your friends' birthday parties as a joke. And we found out while we were there, everyone was whispering, and you pulled Nikki and I aside into a room, and you said, we have to tell you something. This girl doesn't want you here. She only
Like when we
invited
left, you said when we left the room, she said to everybody, I don't even want them here. Basically, we went to that party and we were told you had to dress up like a celebrity and sing their song. And we dressed up like Hillary and Haley Duff and nobody else did. No one else dressed up. And then our mom like never let us sleep over places. So she was like on her way to pick us up and we were like crying on the phone with her, begging her to stay over. And then when we went into a room to try to beg our mom, she apparently told all the other girls, I don't want them here anyway.
See, like I think like a lot of stuff sparked from like little, like even though she was just one person at the time, I think like a lot of stuff came from that because she had other friends and then the friends would like side with her because it was middle school and everyone took sides.
Well, that was I remember that. We literally went out of our way to get outfits to dress up for this party and no one else was dressed up. Like, me now would have been like, well, like obviously they should make fun of you, but like back then I just thought like.
Then it's harder because
I just thought no one else wanted to dress up.
Oh. You don't realize like when you're little.
Like I didn't know how to feel. Like it was the first time I ever felt something like that, and then it was all so familiar when it started again in 7th grade. Except that time we lost you.
Yeah. When we left, did it occur to you like, oh my god, I lost my friends because I listened to everybody else?
I feel like yes and no at the same time because like I didn't have like a best friend pair. You know, like people like pair up into best friend groups. I still had like a friend group, but like a lot of people would do things in like smaller groups, and a lot of times I wouldn't be like included in the smaller groups. So then it was like, oh, what do I do? You know what I mean?
It's like when you would have hung with us, you didn't have.
Yes, exactly.
So you went through like your own like time during that time, like you felt.
I feel like in like certain situations, I wouldn't always have like someone to hang out with, and like a lot of times like. Not so much in middle school, but in high school, like a lot of my friends all had like boyfriends, and so like I wouldn't like have anyone to hang out with them because I'd always like be with their boyfriends.
Yeah, I just think like now that we're adults and we're talking about this, it's just really like easing all the wounds that I felt.
I know. I wish we would have talked about it sooner than like 10 years later.
She had such a hard time visiting the school yesterday. It was easier for me, but she was so upset.
I felt traumatized.
PTSD probably.
Yeah.
It was bad. I'm just so glad we're like speaking out about this because there's so many kids that are probably going through the exact same thing right now.
Yeah.
I think like if there were boys shoving a kid in a locker, it'd be acted upon, but just because it's girls and it's girls being girls, no one's gonna act on it because
like
it's an excuse. Girls will be girls. It's like, no, that's not okay. We visited the new school and we became friends with all these new people in one day because we were that desperate for friends and we just had no friends. So we started hanging out with them on the weekends and not the kids from our middle school. And the day before we transferred was a talent show and they all came to watch.
Yeah.
Aww.
That was such a bittersweet, like sad but so happy. That's so bizarre. So what do you remember from that talent show?
I think you guys sang a song. I don't remember exactly what you did.
These Chemicals React by Ali.
Oh my gosh.
I remember like one of the bullies pulled me aside our last day after the talent show and said, "You're really good at singing." And I was like, what? Like, I was like, whoa. It's kind of genuine. I kind of feel like that was like her way of saying like, I'm sorry. Because she knew we were leaving. What did all those girls say once they saw us getting like followers on YouTube and once they started watching our videos?
Well, now I would say like most of them watch your videos, most of them like your Instagram pictures, most of them I would say are fans now. Is what I would say.
Imagine if our younger selves could just hear this.
Yeah, in fact, it was lunch with Ali and AJ. Still
we got lunch with Ali and AJ last year.
Oh my god.
And I have their number. I remember having the thought when I was in 7th grade, I was on the bus ride home. This is after we weren't friends, we had no friends, and I remember thinking, I'm not pretty, I'm not smart, I don't have friends, why am I here? Like, what? I don't understand. Because, you know, the boys would call us names about our appearance, then...
The boys were mean too.
But at least we had our girlfriends.
Yeah, called hairy arms.
We all did.
They were so mean, like,
And our
most people were
mustaches.
mean.
We've been so open about our bullying story on YouTube. We have a video, we have 2 videos about it, Draw My Life, Bullying Story. Has any of them like watched it and like said, well, that's BS, or wait, we actually did do that? Like, what is the reaction?
I feel like, yeah, I know that people have watched it, but they don't think that it actually happened. They'll be like, oh, that didn't happen, like that's not the way it actually was in middle school or back then. But maybe they don't remember, you know, I don't know.
Did anybody like ever think, like feel bad? Has anyone ever mentioned it?
I don't know that they said that they like feel bad, but I feel like people are definitely like, oh my god, like look at where they are today, like, you know what I mean, like you guys are killing it. So they're probably like, wow, like we were so mean to them in middle school, like look how successful they are now, you know what I mean? In middle school I really didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? I felt like I was a little like puppet. Like going on.
That's so sad who felt that way.
They're watching your videos, they're liking your Instagrams, they're like, no, they know everything going on in your lives because they're keeping up to date with your social media.
What's bizarre is no matter what we went through, we didn't leave saying we hated
So they can't hate you because they're stalking you.
Like, we let that go. Like, when we went to that new school, we made new friends. We didn't talk about it. To this day, does anyone ever bring it up? Like, 10 years later.
If you talk about being bullied in middle school and they watch the video, which I know some of the bullies that we were talking about do watch the videos, and they'll say like, that's not true, that's not what happened, like they're so dramatic.
So I feel like that's like the whole reason we wanted you to sit in. We weren't gonna use the B word. There was actually, our producer sent a text to me and Gabby before we pressed record saying,
oh yeah, I texted her, I was like, this sounds horrible.
Yeah, like Gabby literally said, it said from our producer, don't use the B word. We didn't want to say bullied, but you were the first one to say you guys were bullied. So to hear another person say you were bullied makes us feel like, cause you know,
anyone can play victim in their own life. To this day, I was like, was I playing victim?
I would call it bullying. People
we were targeted.
Nice to you. They were definitely, I would say they were mean.
We were targeted, and it got in the way of being able to focus in school. I remember we were flunking out, whether we transferred or not.
And it was a lot of work.
Out.
There was a lot of schoolwork at that school for like middle school. You know what I mean? Like a lot. So it was probably hard to like try to like focus on yourselves, plus do well academically, plus be happy at the same time.
I remember I dropped out of like curriculars at that school when this was all going on.
Yeah, I remember I did field hockey that year. That was like what kept us friends, I feel like, a little bit. And then once field hockey season was over, we were done being friends.
We were done being.
This is so good that we're all doing this, because I want bullies and victims of being bullied that are all watching this video, like, it's not okay to bully. It's not okay to make someone feel excluded. And it's not okay to make fun of someone or convince someone to stop being friends with someone because they're different.
I agree, 100%.
I just want like people that are watching this, that are going through what we went through, you know, the best thing we ever did was switch schools. We didn't think that was a possibility. Our mom recommended it, and we said, F it, let's do it. And I think that honestly like low-key saved us, because we were so depressed.
But like at the same time, like we were bullied for being different, and I don't think we'd be where we are today if we weren't different.
And I mean, look where we are now. Like, we're sitting here completely unaffected, reconnected, and we're talking about this, emotions aside, like adults. Like, things change.
They do.
Did you ever think 10 years ago that we would be doing this?
No, I would say not. I didn't know that if we would ever talk again. I didn't know
I feel like it was
what
forbidden.
the situation would be.
I feel like it was
So sometimes like change is a good thing, and then we got over like the hump of the like awkwardness, the tension.
So I just feel like this is good for other people to see that, like, if they lost a best friend, doesn't mean you won't be best friends forever. Like, you can reconnect, and when you get over the hump, things get better, you know? Time heals.
I agree.
I feel like we appreciate friendships more now because we went through this.
Yeah.
Right, so now you value them more.
Aw, Jess, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Were you scared?
I was so nervous. I was like, I'm so awkward.
Anyone else know you're doing this, or did you just say, like,
The bullies will watch.
the boys will watch, we'll give them something to watch?
We have to say like I'm still scared for them to watch this.
I'm not, because you're fans.